The hobby might change, but the nerd stays the same. Baby is currently down for a nap. We're going to take advantage of that and talk about some books that I picked up recently. First off is this beautiful exclusive edition from Barnes & Noble of Kiki's Delivery Service. I've not read Kiki's Delivery Service and I have not watched the film. It has these gorgeous sprayed edges. I actually don't remember seeing the sprayed edges when I first ordered this off of Barnes & Noble. It was a pleasant surprise, and it's about a half witch named Kiki, and when her 13th birthday arrives, she has to follow the witch's tradition, which is to find a new town to call home for 1 year. It seems like a whimsical, magical coming-of-age story. I did want to pick up this physical copy of Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. I talked about this in my previous video, my reading wrap-up. Absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed this. Please look up content warnings because this is an adult romance and there is a theme of bullying. That seems to be a very polarizing thing for people, but I personally really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it enough to want to buy a physical copy to add to my personal library. I also need to show you the floppiness of the book. It feels so lovely in the hands, so thank you for that. These next two books are titles that I've owned previously, but ended up selling because my husband and I were at a point where we were downsizing. I had also found out that I was pregnant at the time. Overall, the theme of our lives at that point was trying to make space. And well, I still think that is a theme that I should probably stick to in this season of life. I couldn't help myself. I let it go. I let these books go, and now I was at a point where I felt ready to bring them back into my life. It is Priest and Sinner by Sierra Simone. These are the beautiful, discreet covers. Very spicy, so please check your content warnings. This is not for the faint of heart, but I have talked about it in a previous video, so I'll link that in the description box below, along with all of the books that I talk about today. The next book in the series is Sinner, and this follows Tyler Bell's brother. So Tyler Bell is the main male character in Priest, and this follows Sean Bell. So they're back in my library. I'm pretty excited to read Sinner, and I mean the covers. Gorgeous, gorgeous covers. The rest of these books are from Book Outlet. Let's talk about the first order. I picked up this book, 21 Truths About Love by Matthew Dix, and I thought the cover was so gorgeous. That's pretty much why I decided to read it, and the title is very intriguing. Let's see if I can read you a little bit of the blurb. Daniel Mayrock's life is at a crossroads. He knows the following to be true. He loves his wife, Jill, more than anything. He only regrets quitting his job and opening a bookshop. Jill wants to start a family. The bookshop isn't doing well. Dan hasn't told Jill about their financial trouble. And then Jill gets pregnant. Oh, I do remember reading this. 21 Truths About Love. I'll have to report back on that. And it's a hardcover copy. It feels so nice in the hands. I picked up this next book, Phantom Heart, because the cover, is that not so Phantom of the Opera-esque? I love Phantom of the Opera. This says that 17-year-old Stephanie Armand doesn't believe in ghosts or spirits, despite the rumors at school and her little sister insisting a masked figure is hiding in her closet. There's Eric, the mysterious dashing boy with the British accent who's taken up residence in Stephanie's nightly dreams, a boy who may have something to do with the man in the mask and the strange occurrences taking place within the walls of Moldavia. Or Moldavia? I mean, this is like Punk 57 flop. Let me grab that book so we can appreciate the floppiness together. Give it up for the floppy books. I can't get enough. Gorgeous cover, and yeah, Phantom of the Opera. That's why I added this to my cart. I think it's very YA. There's the inside. I don't want to spoil anything, but looking at the pages, they have this little border at the top. It looks quite nice. I'm actually very excited to read this. I think I will put this on my October TBR as well to kind of fit in with spooky season. I picked up Foul Lady Fortune in paperback. I talked about it in a previous book haul. I picked up 2 hardcover copies. One of those copies, the spine was already starting to separate from the page signatures. I did my best to laminate it, and I'm gonna put that in our little free library for someone to enjoy. But because my copy of Our Violent Ends is in paperback, I do feel the need to keep the series as cohesive as possible. I do have Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong that's in hardcover. So it's by the same author. I don't know if that's gonna bother me. They are separate series. Immortal Longings is separate from These Violent Delights, Our Violent Ends, and I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. I think I'll figure it out when I get there. But for now, I think I'm going to acquire paperbacks for this series. I actually don't want to talk too much about this book because I think if you are reading These Violent Delights and Our Violent Ends and you want to continue reading within the same world, then you should dive into this book blind. If you want more information, then you can go check out the links below and read the little blurb. But I think there's a little bit of a not a spoiler, because it is on the back of the book. Okay, if you don't want a spoiler, then I will say this. It follows a spy named Fortune. Oh, this is so weird. Okay, this is Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings, and the reason my face is like this, I have to go grab my other copies from the series so we can discuss this. So here's Shiny Magnolia Parks. Here is Shiny Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. And then we have the matte finish of Daisy Hates. So this is book 1, Magnolia Parks. This is book 2. I'm sorry, I'm so confused. Look at their different heights. This is by Orion and this is by Dutton. So this is the UK version, maybe? Is Dutton the US distributor? I don't know. Someone educate me. This is the US one. They don't match. I don't know what to do. It's not the most terrible thing in the world, but that did rock my world a little bit. There's just the slightest little height difference. I will say I like the matte finish. I think that's quite nice, but the glossy version it's all right in its own way as well. I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's why there were different listings. I was very confused because I had Daisy Hates a listing from Book Outlet in my wish list, and then this popped up separately and they were different prices, but they were both paperback. That's why. From what I understand, this is following some really messy relationships. Let's see. All Daisy Hates ever wanted was a normal life. Christian is hopelessly in love with his best friend's girlfriend Magnolia, but he's happy enough to use Daisy to disguise his true affections until she starts to infiltrate those two. I like the matte version. And the author's name, Jessa Hastings, the way they foiled it at the top, it looks really nice. What to do. I also picked up The Hen Who Dreamed She Could Fly. This is a book that Nick from Books Are Sick talked about, I think, if I remember correctly, and someone in the comments said that this book made them cry. So it's been on my radar ever since. This is the story of a hen named Sprout, no longer content to lay eggs on command, only to have them carted off to the market. She glimpses her future every morning through the barn doors where other animals roam free and comes up with a plan to escape into the wild. Stop. I'm very excited to read this. And it seems like a very short read. So maybe I'll get to that sooner rather than later. Wow, this is gorgeous. Here is The Atlas Paradox by Olive Blake. This is the second book in what I believe is the duology trilogy, the Atlas trilogy, because I'm seeing here the Atlas 6 is the first book, and then the Atlas Complex is the third book. I have not read the Atlas 6, but I saw this and now I have to. I have to read the Atlas 6 so that I can read the Atlas Paradox. That's how my brain seemed to work there. This is a really beautiful copy. I'm so taken with the shininess, but it's not overdone. So the Atlas series is about 6 magicians who are presented with the opportunity of a lifetime. 5 are now members of the society. 2 paths lie before them. All must pick a side. Chloe Gong said Olive Blake is a mind-blowing talent, and I love Chloe Gong, so I'm gonna listen to her. If she's got a blurb on a book, then I have to pay attention, don't I? And can we just talk about the pages? I don't know why that pleases me so much, to see so much text on one page and the margins. Lovely. I love books, can you tell? I am so stoked. I picked up 2 copies of Dishonestly Yours by Krista and Becca Ritchie. One is for my sister. Hopefully that's not a surprise anymore, Ate, if you're watching this. This is actually a recent release by these authors. They are the same authors that wrote the Addicted Calloway series, and I have read and loved the entire series. Well, with the caveat, Daisy and Reich are not my favorite. Let me just throw that in. But overall, the series has such a special place in my heart. I will recommend that series to anyone who is looking for an adult romance that also focuses on strong family themes. It was such a good time. But I digress. They have come out with the first in what is a new series, Dishonestly Yours. The cover, look at this strawberry. This pink strawberry that's dripping gold. Starting fresh is the only way Phoebe can escape a life of crime. Phoebe Graves grew up in a family where deception and seduction were as commonplace as breathing. Phoebe and Haley, her best friend, decide to run away and start over. The biggest flaw in their plan is Haley's frustratingly handsome brother Rocky, who insists on coming with them. Phoebe worries that Rocky will tempt them back into their old ways where lying is second nature. Ooh, she doesn't want Rocky to mess up the new life she's begun for herself. The longer she stays in town, the more she realizes what it means to have a reputation and what a normal life with the man she loves could look like. If you're looking for romance that I believe is centered around a group of characters that are sort of banding together for a heist, I feel like I've seen people describe it like that, then you might want to check out Dishonestly Yours. I did pick up copies of The Montessori Baby and The Montessori Child. These books I have talked about and mentioned in previous videos. I've read The Montessori Baby and The Montessori Toddler, but have not read The Montessori Child. So this will be tucked away until that time comes where I need some more insight to my child's current development and milestones, but I thought this would be good to have on hand to reference. If you're a parent and are interested in a child-led learning experience that really focuses on fostering independence and practical life skills, you may want to check out The Montessori Baby and the rest of the series. This has the Walmart sticker on it. This is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I have heard rumblings of this author but haven't read any of her works. I think this is her first though, so I'll start here and then move on to The 7-Year Slip, which I did pick up from Book Outlet, and I shared that in a previous video. And then her most current title is A Novel Love Story. So The Dead Romantics. This is about Florence Day, who is a ghostwriter. After a terrible breakup, she no longer believes in love. It's as good as dead. Florence prepares to kiss her career goodbye, but then she gets a phone call she never wanted to receive and must return home for the first time in a decade to help her family bury her beloved father. Oh, that's so sad. Her father's gone, yet everything else feels the same, and she hates it until she finds a ghost standing at the funeral parlor's front door, just as broad and infuriatingly, wow, I'm having such a hard time there, handsome as ever, and he's just as confused about why he's there as she is. Romance is most certainly dead, but so is her new editor, and his unfinished business will have her second guessing everything she's known about love stories. The Dead Romantics. Let me know if it's helpful that I'm reading the blurbs. I personally don't mind going into books blind as long as I kind of have a very broad idea of what the genre and the premise is, but I thought it would be nice if I read the blurbs on the back in case you wanted a little bit more. Last book in here that is for me is Ernest Hemingway, The Sun Also Rises. I've read this before and owned a copy, but at some point I decided to let go of it, and it's one of those things where I realized I want it back in my life. I do have plans to read it again at some point. This is Ernest Hemingway's first novel and a timeless example of his spare but powerful writing. We follow Jake Barnes and Lady Brett Ashley. The story follows flamboyant Brett and the hapless Jake as they journey from the wild nightlife of 1920s Paris to the brutal bullfighting rings of Spain with a motley group of expatriates. The Sun Also Rises. Can I hold all the books? Yep, I can. Here are all the books that I have decided to add to my life, and I'm pretty excited about it. Thank you so much for letting me share my excitement about books with all of you. I would love to hear from you. What books have you picked up recently, or what are you currently reading and enjoying? Please pop in the comments below to let us know. Let's see if I can actually get some reading in before nap time is over. So thank you so much for watching with so much love and gratitude. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.